Ridgely
All right.
Goldsboro, the webinar has started.
I don't know. Somehow we got the t-shirt, gray
You must have
t-shirt.
gotten the memo. It must be summertime.
Amazing. All good. How you
Uh,
doing here, Lee?
I'm doing okay. Hello to the good people out there. It's summertime, Ridgely. People are out having fun. They don't want to jump on a mastermind today.
I think that there definitely is a little bit of slowdown that happens during the summer, and that's okay. People need to have a little time off to recover, rejuvenate, and all of that.
Dr. Art says, love being here.
Thank you,
That's
Dr.
great.
Hart. We appreciate you too, man. Awesome, awesome.
And I must say, Ridgely, that's an awesome t-shirt because everybody, the blue claw crab is my favorite food on earth.
Yep. And I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, and that happens to be the home of the Chesapeake Bay Blue
Yeah.
Craw crab. And when I was a kid, I would literally spend many of my summers trying to catch a whole bunch of them, sell them to my neighbors, and usually never made quite enough money for gas for the boat.
There
Had to
you go.
revert back to cutting lawns and such to get the gas money. Because that
Well,
boat, we would drive it all over the place and catch, 8 crabs and sell them for $5, and it just didn't cut it.
there you go. All right, Ridgely, I know we got some hot seat action today. I see Bill is on, so Bill will be bringing you on for a bit. But let's put you on the hot seat, Ridge, man. Something challenged you in terms of some AI prompting? Tell us the story.
Yeah, so it was really kind of interesting. I had a difficult engagement. I want to just break it down for people. I'm speaking in a couple of months to a group of 100 elite dentists, more or less. And the topic is learning your mind type so that you create genuinely, so that you communicate genuinely and authentically, plus understand limbic messaging, plus use AI to create the limbic messaging, plus let me show you all the stats on how local SEO works and a bunch of examples and why you need to come talk to me and our great friend Federico about what you're doing so that we can help you with your business and show a bunch of examples with some videos. So I said to myself, how in the heck am I going to come up with what they asked me for to do this, which included a catchy title, 2 paragraphs, and 4 or 5 learning objectives that they needed for their promotions and all of that. And by the way, it's a 90-minute presentation. So 90 minutes is an awkward number for a speaker. An hour or less, you're hitting certain points, whatever. 90 minutes means you can pivot, but not too much. And it's not as much as a 2 or 3 hour workshop where you have time to develop one thing, take a break. Okay, everybody go use the restroom, come back, and we'll go into the next thing. This is 90 minutes full out that has to be cohesive. And yet the promotion had to be done well so that people are excited about showing up. And of course, the sponsor of the event is expecting that I am a professional and I know how to write compelling copy about what it is that I'm about to talk about. So I thought, okay, great. We
And
have
I'm sorry, just to clarify for everybody, the promotion meaning what? It'll be a series of promotional emails, or what is the form of the promotion?
emails, the brochure for the event. It's the annual event for a dental support organization, or DSO. And the DSOs basically have taken over the dental world. We obviously do a lot of work with with the largest one called Heartland Dental. This is another one called Sunrise. And they're much smaller, but very elite. So very good crowd for our marketing agency. A lot of great things could come out of that. But I'm trying to balance, Hubert, between being entertaining and fun, providing lots of value, yet also wanting those guys to come to the back of the room and talk to me about us possibly providing some services for them. So there's multiple objectives happening simultaneously on a wide array of topics that all has to come together somehow And I thought to myself, man, this is a job for AI. Let's get at it. And what happened was, I want to show everybody the development of a prompt that took a really long time to figure out, and that I frankly never got to the stage where I normally get to. So, in essence, I was stumped by my own inability to do better than I normally do. And I want to just share that with people, because you're not the only one. If you ever feel like you get stumped and it's like, wow, man, it just didn't come out the way I wanted it to, well, it happens to everybody, including us. So I want to go to our favorite friend here, Chat GPT 4.0, standing for Omni. And let's take a look at this, because I followed the normal protocol that I follow when I'm looking for long form prompt creation, which is to go to prompt creator first, input some basic information, and then work the system to improve the prompt until I get to a 9 or above. Usually I want to get to a 9.5 or a 10, or I'm not happy. So I began this with, thanks, you're an expert copywriter with deep knowledge of online marketing. You've been charged by a client who's a speaker, that'd be me, and owns a marketing agency to come up with a title for a speech that is compelling, edgy, and will get people to really want to attend. Also, we need a 2-paragraph description and 4 or 5 learning objectives for the presentation. It will be about authenticity and genuineness in marketing and messaging, and how to create emotional messaging leveraging AI. It will be performed in front of about 100 top dentists or dental professionals and be 90 minutes in length. Okay, so of course it's going to start and give you some basic information, rewrite the prompt a little bit more elegantly, etc., and then give you some suggestions. Create titles that are catchy, intriguing, and relevant. The description should highlight the importance of authenticity, AI, and the specific brands, unique insights, learning objectives, specific and actionable, etc. Then gives me a few questions to ask. Rating a 7. Now, I spent a fair amount of time writing this initial prompt. It wasn't like, give me a speech for 100 dentists on online marketing. So it came out of the gate with a 7. I was thinking, okay, maybe a little better than a 7, but I got a 7. So I then went in and gave some content. I said, I've written 20 books, recommends a 3-part approach, which is, of course, the one that we teach at Partner Attraction Formula, which is limbic messaging, client-centered copy, clear calls to action. Developed a methodology called Mind Types, help people figure out their why. The tone should be informal though persuasive, convey a sense of that those who don't understand will fall behind if they don't apply this. Okay, so I went through all that, and it gives me a little bit more content and gives me an 8. I'm like, okay, now what? Okay, case studies, common challenges. Does the Mind Types methodology benefit dental professionals in their marketing efforts? Should the tone include humor or anecdotes? Okay, great. So I go, sure, title should be catchy and intriguing, a bit of mystery, incorporating the reference terms being authenticity, AI, emotional messaging, limbic, mind types, dental marketing. And I'm walking through this, guys, so that you can see what happens, because sometimes it's just not easy to get what you want, and you got to work harder. Ridgely has multiple examples of dental practices he can incorporate that have used his methodology to become number 1 in their markets, convert record-breaking numbers of prospects into patients. Objective should be for everybody to discover their mind type, see the power of AI in action to create limbic messaging, and to want to get in line to talk to Ridgely about his marketing agency. Okay, great. So it refines a little bit more. You can see the prompt is getting longer and longer. And then it goes and it gives me an 8. I'm like, really? An 8? I just gave you a whole bunch more stuff. I'm used to it going 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5, 10, right? So it says, all right, give me metrics. Would you like to incorporate humor? And it repeats what it said earlier. So I said, all right, specific metrics included should be that we're taking a practice to over $1 million a month in revenue for the first time in their history within 6 months, with multiple record-breaking months thereafter. Definitely incorporate humor and anecdotes. Pain points to be included are losing business to other practices because they don't rank high enough in search engine and are not visible. The takeaway for the audience is to meet Ridgely and his team before they leave the event where the presentation is being given. I mean, I'm thinking I'm giving some pretty good feedback here. And I go through and it makes the prompt even longer. Now the prompt is really growing. Give me some suggestions. And now I got it to a 9. I'm like, okay, I've got it to a 9. I'm good. I got this. We're going to hit up 10. We're going to knock it out. So it says specific metrics, any particular challenges, any call to action, give us some more details. So they're not giving me anything new here, Hubert. See this? It's exactly the same what they said last time. I got nothing new to work with. So I said, all right, cool. The specific CTA that will drive attendees to meet Ridgely is a bonus of a free video of the attendee being filmed by an award-winning filmmaker on Ridgely's team that will give them a limbic message-based piece to use on their own websites. Other pain points include, so now I'm expanding the pain points because that's all they gave me.
Mm-hmm.
The possibility of new search engine tools such as Google SGE and Google AI overviews, which we need to talk about here, taking business away from them in favor of competitors who know how to use these new cutting edge tools. Okay, great. So back to work, AI goes. Now you can see the prompt is taking up a whole page, right? I mean, this is
Right.
like a ginormously long prompt, et cetera, et cetera. And what do I get? A 9. I'm like, really? 2 8s in a row, 2 9s in a row, no improvement whatsoever. So I just want to point out that sometimes when you're dealing with multiple inputs, multiple pieces to create something, it is not easy to get yourself in that 9.5, 10 perfect range. And finally, I just said, hell with it, run it. And then here are the title suggestions: Unlocking Authenticity, Mastering Emotional AI Messaging for Dental Success, The Power of Genuine Marketing, Transforming Your Practice with AI and Mind Types. And then I like this one, the third one: Beyond the Smile, Leveraging Authenticity and AI to Dominate Dental Marketing. I'm like,
That's a good one.
now we got something here. And then goes and gives me a description, join Ridgely Goldsboro, etc. Ridgely will provide real world examples. And so now I just want to point out, now I have something that I can work with, but especially when I was not even able to communicate clearly enough to get my own prompting to a 9.5 or a 10. What does that mean? It's likely going to mean that I need to spend more time myself tweaking the description, really paying attention. Then I moved a little further, and it also gave me these learning objectives here. And I also figure, okay, I need to really go ahead and hone this myself. And I ended it there because I then took this output and went back to work myself and did all that content. And I'll share with you exactly what I ended up with at the end of the day. But I want to really share, Hubert, how it was not easy, and I'm not used to being stumped like that. I kind of found it quite annoying, frankly.
Well, so question, was the output satisfactory?
It was satisfactory, but it didn't give me, like, I'm used to when I go all the way through something like that, I'm used to it coming out phenomenally well.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I'm just going to share my screen again. And here we go. So Beyond the Smile, Leveraging Authenticity and AI to Dominate Dental Marketing. This is where the content ended up. Join Ridgely Goldsboro, a renowned speaker and marketing expert, for a transformative session on the power of authenticity in marketing and messaging. Ridgely will share his 3-part approach to creating compelling emotional connections with your patients, leveraging limbic messaging, crafting client-centric copy in you language, and delivering clear calls to action. Uncover how his proprietary mind types methodology can help you discover your why and express yourself genuinely to build trust and loyalty. Ridgely will provide real-world examples of dental practices that have skyrocketed to over $1 million a month in revenue within 6 months, thanks to his proven strategies. With humor and anecdotes, he will address common pain points, such as losing business to competitors due to poor search engine rankings and visibility, and the threat of new tools like Google SGE and Google AI overviews. By the end of the session, you'll be eager to meet Ridgely and his team, driven by the bonus offer of a free, professionally made video that highlights your practice's unique limbic message. So, not fantastic, but definitely very serviceable. And it was not, it was, a little frustrating, you were, to be honest, that I couldn't get it to a 9.5 or a 10 before I just said, you know what, this is good enough.
There you go. Okay, so if you're willing to workshop this, can I suggest you do a couple of things right now, and this will be instructive for the audience as well as
Sure.
I believe helpful for you. Can you
Sure.
stay on? Can you copy those two paragraphs that you wrote?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, copy that, and then go back to this chat to GPT, and then continuing that prompt, just say, um, based on your output, I manually created the following, and then colon, and then paste. Okay, and then yep, and then just hit enter, just so that it has it. Let's see what it responds to. Okay, so it goes and creates a new version based on the stuff that you wrote. Okay, so it's folding in what you wrote. Okay, so now what I want to show is this. So write this. Please create a summary of this entire chat in a manner that is suitable for me to copy and paste into a new chat session so that I can continue and experiment with different approaches to this content. And then hit enter. And then it should create a summary that you can then, okay. And then after this is done, then I just want to demonstrate for everybody. This is the idea of summarization of this work, right? Because largely, as everybody sees, you've proceeded in a linear way and brought it through to its logical conclusion. At the end, you went off platform and you know did some human writing, okay? But now, the idea is that this is a good forking point. You've done it up to this point right here. Now we're going to use AI to take different approaches, but we want to preserve this as like the fork in the road that you have as a basis, right? So what you're going to do then is uh, right. Actually, can you go all the way back down and include that part there? Okay, yes. Now go from there up to the beginning of the summary. Okay, right. Cool.
Okay.
Or actually, no, no. You know what? The other stuff is so good. Do the same, but keep going up and go back. Yeah, copy from there all the way to that last instruction. Okay, cool.
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now what you do is you do a new chat. Just hit the new chat button. Okay, and then say below is the summary of a previous chat session. Ingest it so that you can help me experiment with the outcome. And then paste. Okay, so now we have a different fork, meaning it's continuing about um, the prompt. Okay, can you let's just ask it on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the current? How would you rate the prompt in its current state? And let's see what it says. It's an 8. Okay.
We're going backwards
Okay.
here.
So yes. Now, but here's the thing. Scroll up and let's look at those suggestions. Are they the same or are they different? And if they're different, hopefully they're no, go back down. No, go to the bottom. It gave you some suggestions right here. Areas for improvement. So Are any of those helpful compared to the last round of prompting?
Well, I mean, I can certainly go down these rabbit holes more deeply, sure.
Okay, so that's the concept, and we don't have to do it now, but I just wanted to point out that this is the concept then of let's say you go down the rabbit hole of the $1 million revenue details of that. Then you would go ahead and do that. And then if you decide it's not fruitful, you then create a new chat and paste in the summarization from before you took the fork. And so this is just a living example of how you manage these different forks in the road and not drive yourself crazy. And this is just like fork content fork management in the ChatGPT chat environment. So I just wanted to use your example as a guinea pig for everybody to illustrate that.
Yeah, and this would be helpful. We'll see what they come back with if I need to do something like this, but great stuff. And I know there's some people that made some comments in the chat saying Art said I had a similar but different experience. I created a 10 prompt, but when I ran it, I was disappointed. The solution was to use the prompt on smaller chunks. And then,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And so I have gotten away from these super prompts, these long involved ones. And I dare say, originally, other than you and Art, I think most of us would like say, "Oh, run it" whenever we get to like 9, right? We're not looking for 9.5 or 10. The reason why I like the shorter prompts is because I will add to my initial prompt. Okay, I will say, create a first draft, and then be prepared to dialogue with me to improve it. Ask me questions that you feel will help the second revision. And when you do that, Ridgely, it then comes up with a version and then asks you, how did I do? What directions should we take? And that's more of a dialogue. And here's a breakthrough concept that I'm really uh, experimenting with, and then I'll explain in the industry why it's significant. In that second iteration, so let's say it spits out an initial draft, then you're gonna say, "Great, now act." So let's say the first time you asked it to act as a you know some subject matter expert in dental marketing. On the second pass, you say, "Okay, great. Now for the second draft, act as a seasoned marketing writer and review that first draft and add according to your new expertise value based on your avatar now." And then when you go through, you then add on that second one. And likewise, the third one, you can say, okay, now act as a conference promoter and suggest things to me that would increase the attendance. And so what you're doing is you're running a multiple iterations from different act as avatars. And when you're doing that, originally, and this is the new buzzword, everybody, was excited about AI as the buzzword. The new buzzword within AI is the term agents, right? So agents are these AI personas that will interact with each other on your behalf. So in the illustration I just verbally described, we had three different agents. We had the first one, which was acting as a dental marketing expert. The second one, which was a marketing copywriter expert, and the third one was a conference promotion expert. And you have three agents reviewing the same content and elaborating on each other's work within the same chat thread. So that's
Mhm.
going to be the future, having these AI agents or these AI team members work collaboratively on the same instruction set.
And just to take that a little further for everybody's benefit, that means that imagine that you're looking to create a sales process. You could have one agent be the copywriter, another agent be the video producer or video script producer, another agent be the compliance person that makes sure that everything is compliant, another agent be the email deliverability expert to make sure that there's not something in there that's weird. And that collective group can largely replace a lot of team members. This is
Yes,
definitely the new
exactly.
thing. And we're working our way in that direction. It can get you twisted up in a knot really fast if you think about, oh my gosh, I've got this micro army of robots that are running my business. And of course, if you do that, you can really educate them to be true experts in whatever you're looking to do that don't make mistakes. They're going to give you consistently what you feed to them, which means the better you are at training the agents, so to speak, the better the content that you're going to get back from that.
Yes, and here's how you bake in. I always do this. I think it doesn't occur to people a lot, but once you do this, then you as the manager of this group of agents, not only can you keep tabs on what's going on, but you instantly alerted to any AI hallucinations that might go on. When you ask each new agent in its role as such and such to refine this draft, you also add, after the draft, please summarize for me what you added from your viewpoint and explain why you did that. So it does its draft iteration, and then it tells you, as the conference promoter, I pointed out the value of attending this, and this for this, and this reasons. So you as the manager, it's like having the employee come and give you his work, but then tell you his thought process behind it. And once you check that layer, you instantly know if it's legitimate or not.
Well, and um, oftentimes we all know that people might not want to, uh, critique themselves, so to speak. They don't want to say something about their work that's, subpar or whatever. But when you're using AI, it's neutral. It's just going to give you the data and the information. It's not going to try to sugarcoat anything.
Right. Here's a great example from Bill. I just attended a webinar where they said about their output. Now give me a version as if you were Steve Jobs. See, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, so speaking of Bill originally, do you want to bring Bill on? Because I think you said that he had a hot seat.
He does. And if
That's
we have
awesome.
time, we should talk a little bit about Google AI overviews.
Sure. Howdy, howdy, Bill.
You let me come in. Whoop.
I can hear you.
I know you can't see me, but you can hear me. Oh, there it is.
Oh, you're teasing us.
What's going on here?
That thing that normally works. Oh, there we
Hey,
go.
there you are. It's all this beautiful weather that we're having, Bill, in New York. It's messing things up.
I know. It is beautiful.
All right, Bill, tell us what you got going on because it sounded quite complicated, which is always fun.
Yeah, no, it's not complicated. I'm doing a retreat for this nonprofit organization. And so one of the parts in the retreat is to do something around conflict management. So what I was trying to do was come up with a couple of conflict management scenarios. And then I wanted them, based on the couple of inputs that the person gave me of what those conflict management scenarios should cover, I wanted those scenarios, and then I wanted 4 options, 4 options, and then a recommended best option. So what I'm going to do is have the options, I have the scenario, then give them the 3 or 4 options, and then ask them to select the best option. And then based on AI, I'll use that as the best option, and I'm going to ask them why they thought that was the best option.
What do you think, Hubert? Right?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. So now I want to point something out to everybody that's watching Ridgely and Hubert kind of go, This is where the difference is going to be made in AI versus non-AI moving forward. In the future, everybody's going to have access to AI. So right now, for example, 10, 15 years ago, even maybe, there were people who didn't get on the internet. But now some people are on Safari, some people are on Chrome, some people are on Firefox, whatever. Everybody's going to have access to AI and be able to use AI. So what is going to be the difference maker? The difference maker is going to be the ability to use critical thinking as a tool to manage AI. So that's what we're doing here. We're saying, well, how do we approach this? What is the right way to work on the presentation that Bill's looking to create here. What would be a good starting point for this? Do we want it story format? Do we want it anecdotal? Do we want to add some humor? Do we want to start with, hey, let's get the scenarios down and then break those down? In other words, the critical thinking piece is what we will be talking about always on this mastermind. And it's what's going to make the difference between something that is really unique and different and what anybody could get. Hubert.
Yeah, but
Now, what I did was I already created something and got some output
okay.
because I thought maybe, we could either use that as an
Sure.
initial starting point, or I just see what you come up with and I'll compare it. Either one.
Hubert, what are you thinking? I'll let you drive for a minute.
I think we should try Ridgely's magic prompt system, and then
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and then we can compare and contrast. I think that would be awesome.
Okay.
This is like this is the battle of the problem solvers here. We got Bill and Ridgely, both master problem solvers.
I give up. I give up. I bow to the master. I bow to the master.
No, Bill, you wrote the book on problem solving.
That's true. I didn't write the book. All right. So if we're, again, just going through the exercise of sharing with people how to do this, first of all, we're checking up here. We're in 4.040, which is for Omni, not regular 4, something I learned to make sure I pay attention to. So we got the most updated when you're on ChatGPT. And what do you think the persona should be that's working for us, with us, Bill?
I'm a master trainer and consultant, management consultant. Master management trainer and consultant.
Okay, and management consultant. Tasked with creating a new program, a new workshop?
Tasked with creating a session on conflict management.
On conflict management. Okay, give us a few more details, what we're looking for.
Yeah,
and
I'd like to
also maybe right off the bat mention who the audience is, Bill.
Well, yeah, for a nonprofit organization. If you want to put that in, I think I put that in my prompt.
Is it the management of the nonprofit organization?
No, it's for all of the people.
Okay.
There's 20 people. It's not a big one.
20 people. Okay, cool.
And I also put in who have different behavioral styles.
Cool.
That's good.
Okay, and now tell me about length and format.
Yeah, I didn't do that just because I wanted to see what they spit out, and they spit out little ones, which is good. I was hoping they wouldn't give me really long ones. So
Okay.
I'd say, I don't know, 250 words.
No. I mean, like, how long is the presentation of the session?
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I don't need that.
Yeah, let me do it my way.
There's an interactive thing.
Oh, but for how long? How long are you going to be with me?
For 45 minutes to an hour.
Session will be 45 to 60 minutes. Okay, and then give me a few more details, or we could just start with this and see where we go.
Well, there'll be small groups that'll be working on individual scenarios, and they'll be looking at different conflict situations, and they'll be given 3 or 4 choices, and they'll have to pick the best one.
Individual scenarios and different conflict situations.
Mm-hmm.
Their task will be to select the best conflict management approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's a fair amount, right? That's a fair amount of input, which I always like starting with a little bit more. Obviously, let's see where we get to. I'm thinking that's going to take us to a 7 or a more. Oh, only a 6. Okay. We need more details. Okay, cool. What do you think? Let's start with suggestions. What are the types of behavioral styles that you think?
Okay, gossiping is one. Let me just, if I could, let me just,
Gossiping, yep.
yeah, stick with me. Let me just open up the,
Yeah, gossiping. I think gossiping is one of the most challenging things out there. I really have a big issue with gossiping.
yeah. Just try to open up the document so I can tell you. Ah, geez. Okay, just 1 second.
And you can just talk to me too, like
Yeah,
this.
no, I apologize. So I put it in, come on. Gossiping, being argumentative. And then the other one was lack of collaboration and teamwork. Those are the three she gave me.
Okay, and then what are the learning objectives?
They're going to look at, and we could say this too, we can use one of three options. One is compromise, the other one is collaboration, and the third one is competing.
Okay, to learn about three approaches.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I kicked in, because a lot of those people are on the quiet side. And so
Give me those two again. Collaboration, what was it?
Competing, collaboration, compromise.
Nice, and competing, right? Okay.
And then a lot of the people are on the quiet side, so
Mhm.
they have trouble expressing themselves.
Some participants
Many participants.
don't express much and are on the quiet side. Okay, let's see what this does to the prompt itself. I think it'll get us another point. They're gonna need some more from that. All right, what do we get here? It's not even telling me what it's going to give me on this one. Okay, man. Revised prompt. Okay, so are there materials or resources that you're going to use?
I'm going to do a PowerPoint presentation where I'm going to give them some information about those three approaches.
PowerPoint on the three approaches. And it's gonna be kind of like group dialogue in small groups, right?
Yes, small group. They're going to have, each one's going to have a situation. They're going to, again, look at the situation and pick out the best approach.
Approach in each scenario. And what do you want them to take away?
Well, I want them to take away why that approach is the best approach, and to think about in real, when they go back to work, when they come up with this kind of a situation, they need to kind of analyze the situation and see what, have the conversation with the person that they're in conflict with, and then decide on what's the best approach to use. Because a lot of people just go with the one that they're most comfortable with. So an example of that is competitors will constantly compete. They'll compete for everything. So to get them off of that, they need to know that there's other possibilities.
Okay, I'm going to write that down in the next session here. Now we're up to an 8. Okay, great. Okay, so the structure is going to be PowerPoint plus group activity plus discussion plus recap.
Right.
Okay.
And then at the end, I'll give them a tool that they could use to analyze situations.
To include presentation, group discussion, dialogue, conclusions, and sharing.
And a tool that they could use.
They will also get a tool they can use.
Right.
Okay. And they're probably going to ask you for more details on each conflict scenario. Like more, what about gossiping? What about, now we're up to a 9. Okay, much better. Yeah, give me the conflict scenario. So conflict scenarios, describe those a little bit more for us.
Well, again, they gave me, ChatGPT gave me some examples when I
Okay,
asked them.
so tell me a little bit about them, like the gossiping.
People overheard some people at a meeting talking about other people at a meeting. So what should they do about it?
Okay,
There was another one where they introduced some new ways of working on projects. And what ended up happening is people did not adopt the new ways of working on the project.
okay. Lack of adopting new ways to work on a project. Okay. And you had one more?
Yeah, but I should have printed it out. I can't think of it right now.
You mentioned earlier that some of the examples included lack of teamwork also, you said.
Yeah,
Being argumentative.
yeah. Sorry about this. Whoop.
Being argumentative. Okay, cool. Let's see what that does for us. Here we go. Now we'll take a look at this prompt before we run it. Okay, we're at a 9.5. Now this is very respectable.
Pretty good, pretty good.
So you are a master trainer and management consultant tasked with creating a 45 to 60-minute training session on conflict management for a nonprofit organization. Think about how clear that first statement is. Very, very clear, that sentence. The audience consists of 20 people with varying behavioral styles, including gossiping, argumentative, lack of collaboration, and quietness. The session should involve small group activities where participants work on individual scenarios and different conflict solutions. Each group's task will be to select the best conflict management approach. Collaboration, compromise, or competing for each scenario presented. The learning objectives are for participants to understand and apply these 3 conflict management approaches. Materials will include a PowerPoint presentation and a tool participants can use. The session structure will include an introduction, the PowerPoint presentation, group activities, discussions, conclusions, and sharing. The takeaway for the participants is to understand why each particular approach is the best one for each situation. Conflict scenarios include gossiping, lack of adopting new ways to work, and being argumentative. Not bad.
No, it's good. Nice job.
All right. Shall we run it, Hubert?
Yes, sir. Blast it away.
All right. Let's do this. Generally rewrites the prompt for us. There we go. Run it.
It's thinking hard. No, it's running. It's just thinking.
By the way, I also did something. I'm setting up a feedback session where there's a speaker and a receiver, and it helped me do that too. You know,
Good.
just what will the speaker know? What does the receiver know? And what are the differences that they don't know that each one knows that creates some problems? And it was very good. I'm coming up with something.
Actually, I think you're right. You do have to hit run it. I don't know why it didn't auto run.
Here we go. Training session plan, 20 members of a nonprofit organization, 45, 60 minutes, structure, introduction, 5 minutes, welcome, purpose, outline, PowerPoint, 10 minutes, present the approaches, define each approach, group activity, 20 minutes, small groups, provide each group with a scenario, discussion, 15 minutes, facilitated discussion, conclusion sharing, 5 minutes, Q&A closing, 5 minutes, materials needed, etc.
I
No, but
love this. I
That's
love
not what
this.
I wanted.
No,
What
no,
do
no.
you
Right. No, I just before we leave this though, I love the format of this originally because if you're out there looking to propose a session, this is a great format to send into somebody to
Yeah,
say,
that is a
hey,
great, that is a great
here's what
format.
we can do.
Yeah. Again, I know that part. I
Right.
need the actual thing, the actual,
Yeah. So now, originally, you would do something like, great. Now provide me with the content for each of these things on the agenda.
that's what I need.
Go one at a time so we can analyze them as we go along.
Yeah,
Little trick.
that's what I,
There you go. You wrote your whole speech. Today's session will provide you, and here's how we'll spend our time today. Outline, blah, blah, blah. It's giving you talking points. Now it's giving you full-blown slides. Seven slides that start with title slide, conflict management approaches, understanding and applying effective strategies, introduction to conflict management, collaboration, compromise,
yeah,
competing.
I have all that.
Okay.
I
So-
need actual, scenarios.
Not yet. Please first provide scenarios, detailed scenarios. Again, now it's critical thinking here. Could be anecdotal for the three approaches. Let me go back to the beginning. So now it's saying, okay, gossiping. Background. In the not-profit organization, there have been instances of gossiping where some employees overhear others talking negatively about their colleagues. This has led to a tense work environment, decreased trust among team members. Objective: to use conflict management approaches to address and resolve the gossiping issue. Three approaches: collaboration. Maria and John overhear Lisa and Tom gossiping about a colleague, Sarah, spreading rumors about her work ethic. Maria and John decide to approach Lisa and Tom together. They arrive at action, outcome, compromise. Jane overhears Mark, da-da-da-da-da, scenario. Team Alex, da-da-da, etc. Second one, lack of adopting new ways to work on a project. Again, same thing. Now to give you the approaches, different names, etc. Where do we want to go next to go deeper on this?
What's the best one and why?
Okay. Of those three, which is the most effective approach and why? Collaboration.
Nice.
Because it encourages open communication, builds trust in relationships, offers long-term solutions, promotes mutual respect, enhances team morale, improves problem-solving skills. Why it stands out: inclusivity, commitment, and flexibility.
So the only other thing I would say is which one of the choices would be the best for each one of the scenarios. That's what I was, in other words, they'll have three options.
So how would we ask that to get you the result you're looking for?
This might be the time I show you the prompt I gave them.
Sure. Here. Go for it.
So here's what do you want me to do? Show you,
Yeah, pop it up on the screen.
pop it up on the screen. Okay. I have a Word document, so how do I do that? I cut out.
Just go share screen and put up your computer.
Great. Oops, sorry. I am,
Because we can certainly continue to go further on this, on our side as well.
mhm.
But I just need more clear instruction.
Okay, so well, what I'm trying to bring up then is the actual prompt I used. Is that what I'm trying to do?
If you have that. So
I do.
here, by the way, I just want to take this a little further for you, because if we divide the group activities, divide them into small groups, it's giving like a way to do this very clearly, what to do in each one. I just think it'd be good to take a look at what they suggest.
You cannot start sharing screen while the other participant is sharing.
Yeah, I'll unshare in just a second. I just want to give you everything.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, here we go. Final piece. And you can see everybody watching that in just literally 20 minutes, you have start to finish something that I was not an expert in any way, but using the tool gives quite a bit of information that at the very least is a super solid start. Okay. All right. So I'll stop sharing. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. So again, the prompt is no big deal here. So again, I was working on two things. One, the top one is the one for the scenarios. So you can see it's pretty basic. Then the bottom one was one I did in trying to set up some role plays for giving feedback. So again, just pay attention to the top one.
Okay. I'm an expert management trainer and consultant working with a medium-sized nonprofit agency with employees who have various behavioral types. I need individual scenario examples to use for a conflict management exercise involving situations where there's a lack of collaboration and teamwork. I'd like to have 3 different possible options with a recommendation for the best choice.
So what I did was just what you said. I used each one separately. So that was collaboration and teamwork. Then I did one for gossiping, and then I did another one for whatever that third one was.
Competing. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
And what did you come up with? What did they come up with?
I'll show you what I came up with. Let me just close that. Whoop. Cancel. How do I close this? I guess I close it this way. I don't have to close it. Then I could do share again. And whoop, wrong one. Let's try it again. Stay with me. Whoop. Wish I was a little better at this. Oh, maybe it's here. Yeah. Okay. Can you see that? Or I'm not sharing yet.
Working with environments can present challenges, communication barriers, trust building, conflict resolution. It's just general information at this point.
I am so sorry. I'm screwing this up.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, now you got it.
Yeah.
Disagreement, the chronic contrarian, the defensive debater. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, see, this is a great way to do this. And we could certainly use the tool to come up with the caricatures for each scenario.
Right. Well, they came up with that themselves, right? And then on the second one, right, the unwilling collaborator. And then the third one was, what was it? The third one is the whispering quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. And again, I did it for each one. This is just one of them. One of the issues. They gave me the three different scenarios.
So then obviously one of the challenges you have is how do you condense that or compress that down into really easily usable content for the presentation? Because that's a lot what you have there.
Well, again, I would have it on, sheet of paper, and they would have the first one, and then they'd pick out which one. I wouldn't put all the recommendation. I would keep that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would tell them which one was the right one and why.
Yeah. So what else can we do to help you with this? Obviously, on on what we did here, the work that we did here is a lot of much more detail on structure and possible word choices that you could use, etc., even all the way down to giving you a closing. What should I do during the closing? What are the highlight the takeaways, provide additional resources?
Yeah, no, all that'll be very helpful.
Yeah. All right. Let me get that for you.
Thank you. We can put it in chat or
I'm going to drop it into the chat and make sure you can open it so that you have it, so you can get that content right now. And again, two different approaches, but at the end of the day, the output is tremendous if you know how to use the tool. And again, it's the critical thinking piece that makes sense. Because Bill said, oh, well, it gave me this, but what I need is this. Okay, well, let's ask it for that. Can you open that link in the chat, Bill? Make sure you've got all that content.
it's saying server error.
You might have to click it a second time.
Okay.
Sometimes it does that. Otherwise, I will also send you the link via email.
Yeah, server error again.
Okay.
So yeah, if you can send it to me, that would be great.
Okay, it is already done. Let me know if it doesn't work, because I can also cut and paste the entire thing. So just different ways of working around when you're not getting what you want from the tool. And actually, let me just see something. Make this chat discoverable in web searches. Now I'm going to try it again. See if this works now. I might have just learned something myself. Let's just try.
You know what was interesting, Ridgely? I went through it and I did it again. And when it gave me the scenarios, I messed around with it a little bit. It also gave me the references on the bottom, where they came from.
Yeah.
So they were using something that was in there already.
And
okay. They told
Richly,
me
Federico's reporting the same error, so something's going on. You'll need to send that to Bill offline.
I did already.
Okay, awesome. So, folks, in this battle of the problem solvers, I have to call it a draw. There are pros and cons to each approach. Good try, Bill, to unseat the master problem solver, but you guys are still tied.
No way.
Fantastic.
Thank you as usual. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. So,
have a good one.
Ridgely, funny comment from Dr. Art, because he knows how one of your pet peeves is this. He said, "I've become painfully aware of how often ChatGPT uses the word ensure. One of my alternatives is achieve."
Thank you. Achieve is much better. I'm just so sick of ensure. So
exactly. All right, Ridgely, when are we meeting next?
So next week, special session led by Hubert Lee only. I will be on the road, and
are you sure? Because is that the first of the month open house, or I thought my session was the second week of June.
Well, I can try to see if I can be there, but right now I'm definitely scheduled to be on the road. It is the 4th of June.
Okay, no worries. I thought it was the second week, but no worries.
4th of June, so next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon.
Be there or be square.
And I like this. Dr. Art says, I looked at my webcam image after your, Bridges, and Federico's comments about vertical eye position and found my eyes were dead center because the lift on my chair had failed. I've adjusted my camera accordingly. Thanks. Because otherwise we look like this.
There you go.
All right, Hubert, you leaving with us?
Thanks. Yes, I'm going to leave you with something, but just a couple of follow-up items. We didn't have time, Bill, to ask you how your website is going, so maybe we'll do that next time. Follow-up session on Bill's progress with his website. All right, Ridgely, I know I talked about the weather and summertime. It's beautiful here in New York. I know you've been having summer for a long time now, but here's a couple of weather-related ones. So, Ridgely, knock, knock.
Who's there?
S'more.
S'more who?
S'more jokes on the way. Why didn't the sun go to college? Why didn't the sun go to college?
Why not?
Because it already had 1,000,000 degrees. All right, one more, Ridgely. What do you
Yeah.
get when you cross an elephant and a fish? Come on, you know this one. What do you get? You can tell your grandkids this one. What do you get when you cross an elephant and a fish?
What's that?
Swim trunks.
All right. All
All
right,
right.
people. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the short week. It's only 2 more days left before the weekend, and we'll see you next week, or at least in my case, in 2 weeks. All right,
Okay,
guys.
folks.
Thanks,
Ciao.
everybody. Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.